Mr. President, thank you. Thank you very much for agreeing to talk to the SABC. Now, to those of us who don't know you, how does President Nkurunziza describe himself?
Yes, of course. My name is Nkurunziza. It means good news. And I was the President of the Republic of Burundi, and also the candidate of the CNDD-FDD party for the upcoming elections.
Is it all that defines you? Is there no other things? I mean, you are a husband? Wow.
Yes, I am married. I have 5 children, and all of them are in the primary school. I am also a born again. My wife is a pastor, and he is always in the church.
And the kids?
The kids, some of them have already finished the university. They are at university. The others are in the primary school and the secondary school.
Your passion for soccer, is that a keep fit thing, or is it something that you just enjoy?
Normally, since I am a young boy, I was always playing soccer. After I became also a famous soccer player in the team here in Bujumbura, the secondary school, and also I became a coach of the second team here in Bujumbura. I have also now my own soccer team formed by the veterans from the national team. That's why my soccer team is called Hallelujah, is to thank God.
Well, I watched a bit. They were not coming to you to challenge you.
No, you know that we are as friends, and also when we are playing, we must respect each other.
Mr. President, as you know, the world over the past month or so has seen pictures being beamed on television screens across the world of young people who were not at school, throwing stones at the police firing tear gas, there were barricades. What was going through your mind at that time?
You know that through our history, Burundi passed through many difficulties, especially civil war, conflicts, and many killings. You can imagine since we have independence in 1962, there was bloodshed, there was also dictatorship. To 2005, it means that Burundi passed through those difficulties, and many of Burundians went in exile, and many of them have been killed. That's why even today we have set up the Truth and the Reconciliation Commission in order to see how we can reconcile Burundians people and to build our future, a bright future. So when what you have seen a few weeks ago, it's not like what you have seen in the past, because in the past there were many killings, many people have been killed, many people went in exile, but today even some small points here in Bujumbura, it was around 10% of the Bujumbura city where there are some small demonstrations. But today, those demonstrations are like finished. It means that we have succeeded to manage them, and there is no many problems about this we have seen through the international media. But what is very important is that Burundi is a peaceful country. We have security. We are helping other countries, Somalia, Central Africa, Ivory Coast. In the near future, we plan also to send 1 battalion in South Sudan. It means that we have peace and security, and we have succeeded to implement the all ceasefire agreements and the Arusha Peace Accord. So today we are reaping together, Burundians, with our partners, the dividends of peace.
From where you sit, though, what was responsible for what we saw, the violence that we saw?
Normally there is no responsibility from our side, because, you know, every political party has a right to organize itself for the elections. There are opposition, but also there's the political parties which are on power. So when we are starting campaigning, there's sometimes people who want to see how we can access to the power with violence, or if they have not prepared a very serious elections, they can use also other ways to see how they can disturb the electoral process. What you have seen was only how to disturb the electoral process. But what is very important is also that the international community and all Burundians are together as one to organize successfully elections. So today, we are very happy to see that even the international community, the region, have also participated to see how we can support Burundi to organize successfully elections.
Well, those who were protesting said they were protesting against your decision to stand for another term.
It's not a matter of my decision. It's come from the political party. You know that according to the law establishing the political parties in Burundi, there is also, it's not only in Burundi, it's also in many countries, even in South Africa, in Tanzania, Uganda. When we are preparing elections, especially for the candidates for the presidential elections, you must respect the outcome of the Congress. That's why, from myself, I was not an independent candidate. I was also given by the political party, the CNDD-FDD. It means that it was organized a Congress, a national Congress for choosing the candidate, and so these Congress have presented me as a presidential candidate for the upcoming elections.
And from where you sit, you've done nothing wrong, you have not broken any law.
There is no any wrong decision. Even our political party, when they presented my candidate, they say if the candidate is in conformity with the Constitution. That's why after my proposals to become the candidate for the presidential elections, the Senate went to ask to the Constitutional Court if the decision is in conformity with the Constitution, and after the Constitutional Court accepted that my candidate is in conformity with the Constitution.
Is there any extra effort that you're going to put in the little pockets you are talking about? Is there an extra effort that you're going to put as the government to make sure that elections will be free and fair and peaceful even in those places? Because those are Burundians who will have the right to actually cast their vote.
You know, the first priority for us is peace and security. You can't organize election when they are not, you have no peace and security. If you go through the Bujumbura city, you can see that there is peace and security. People are going to their work without any problems. And those small demonstrations are now over. They are decided to stop. Is to show that the goodwill, not only from the government but also from those people who in these demonstrations. So they see that there is a possibility to be free and also to become quiet and to go through the elections. Why? Because there was people who attempted to make a coup d'etat and they didn't succeed. It means that they have seen that that way is not a good way to take. So today, even with the support of the international community, all Burundians are focusing their attention to organize peaceful, transparent, and credible elections. According to the government, who have asked to the international community to send observers. Many of them are here, and we are now mobilizing the others to come to be. And we have said that we want the observers before, during, and after elections. And I think that this is the first time in Africa to see a government which can call for the observers before, during, and after election. Is to show that we want to show to the international community, to the Burundian people, that we want to organize peaceful, transparent, and credible elections.
Well, speaking of the coup d'etat, are you going to reach out to those who attempted a coup, or do you feel they just need to be prosecuted?
You know that when there is a matter like that, it's not a matter it's a matter of the justice. Justice now is doing his work, their work. So I think that after the judgment, according to the Constitution, there is no people who can interfere in the justice matters. That's why we must respect the procedure when they are finished their work, so we'll see what can be done. And you can also know that now Burundi, we have already set up the Truth and the Reconciliation Commission. Is also to be mentioned that it's the last stage of the implementation of the Arusha Peace Accord and the Global Ceasefire Agreement. It means that we have already implemented around 90% of the all peace process. So we have also last year set up the Truth and the Reconciliation Commission. If there is a matter like that, those people who attempted to the coup d'etat, it means that we are going to take seriously this matter, because you have accepted that the only way to access or to access to the power, we must pass through the elections. So this coup d'etat will be taken seriously with the justice, but according to the political will, after the judgment, we'll see what can be done.
What about, Mr. President, the refugees? Because the numbers vary. If you ask human rights bodies, they put the number at 100,000. I spoke to your foreign minister yesterday, who put the number at 400. So there's quite a number of statistics that are going around. Now, irrespective of the numbers, those Burundians are going to be disenfranchised by virtue of not being in the country. Is there anything that as a government?
As a government, you can say that Burundi passed through, as I said, many difficulties. We regret to see that in the past. We have seen around 1 million people went in exile in Tanzania during around more than 10 years. You can imagine some people went in exile since 1972. Around 500 people went in exile in the past day, around 40 years in Tanzania. We take this opportunity to thank the Tanzania government, which last year took a decision to give citizenship to the Burundian people who were there during around 30 years. So you see how it is painful to see Burundians living in the foreign countries as refugees. But today, if you ask those our citizens who went free to Tanzania, to Rwanda, they are around 50,000 people. But today, 2 weeks ago, I visited some areas, provinces. I was myself receiving around in the south, in Makamba province, I received myself around 15,000 people come back. And also in the north, in Kirundo, I received 5,000 people come from Rwanda. It's to show that even they went there, it's around 1 month only, and they return back. It's not like those people pass around 40 years in exile. So today there is a difference. There is a hope. They saw themselves that in Burundi we have peace and security. The people went in exile because those rumors through some radios, some others, but today they realize that those rumors were not true. That's why they are coming back as soon as possible, and we are calling them to come back to their country. Burundi is peaceful, and they want even all people who are in the exile to come and rebuild the country together as one.
Well, speaking of radios and other forms of media, well, there are radio stations that cannot operate any longer. There are journalists who cannot work. What should be done in your view, especially in the run-up to the election, because those are critical components, of a free and fair election. People should be able to have conversations in the social media as well, which, as you know, at the moment, things if you look at the world has seen radio stations being closed down, social media being closed down as well. Are you going to reopen those and allow people to work?
We didn't ourselves as a government close the media. You know that there is some restriction, and but Burundi, if you compare the whole region, is only the first country to have many medias. If you see the other surrounding countries, you can imagine you have around 20 radio stations in Burundi, private. It means if there is some, I think that there are four media which had problems with the coup d'etat, because they were operating at that time. But those people who attempted the coup d'etat went there and they destroyed those radios, medias, so they burned them. Some of them have been taken by the soldiers. So it's not a matter of the decision for the government, no, because it's the consequence for the coup d'etat. So today, if there are some like 4 radio stations who have been destroyed during the coup d'etat, it not means that the media are closed. No, there are around now 15 radio stations which are operating. If you can use them, and also we have also a request to the National Council of Communication. They can also bring those journalists together so they can create something, so they can work together, or they can use those current radio stations who are working. They are private, there are many. There are 15 radio stations which are available for accompanying the campaign.